In October 2011, my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer.
My Aunt Cheryl and my grandmother have been diagnosed with breast cancer.
September 2010, my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer.
I was really devastated. I guess like the first thought when you hear cancer, you think like death, but it was a really emotional time. It just felt like my world had like just crashed. Like, I don't know, like what am I gonna do? I kept thinking the worst possible things that would happen, and yeah, it was really bad.
After this news, I felt numb. My family's pretty small, so when things happen, it affects us in a big way. My grandmother is one of my closest family members, so when I found out that something was wrong with her, it really took a toll on me. And I was also pretty young when it happened, so I didn't really understand it, but I just knew that something was wrong, and that was enough to make me concerned.
At first, my mother had kept it a secret from like me and my brother, but eventually she had told us. And at first, I didn't believe it, so I didn't really pay attention to it. So, but then eventually, I stopped being so selfish, and it took a toll on me.
It took a really big toll on my family. My mom is like, she's a single parent, she's the only person at work, so she like stopped working, and like I had to get a job to like pretty much support myself. It was a struggle, like, but we worked through it and we support each other. And as far as like my little sister's still at home, so with her, it was just hard for her to deal with, because my mom is like, the only person there. It was really hard.
When we found out my grandmother was diagnosed, it took a toll on us. In the 1970s, she had cysts removed from her breast several times, and in August of 1999, she got a similar procedure, and she was reassured that everything was okay. On October 5th of the same year, she got a call saying she was diagnosed. From about November of 1999 until May of 2000, she had 4 different surgeries, including breast reconstruction and different lumps being removed. And the fact that she had continuous surgeries 4 within less than a year really took a toll on everybody. My aunt lived in Maryland at the time, my uncle in Ohio. They would spend so much time in Winston because we didn't have a choice. We all had to band together for my grandmother in her time of need. It made us closer and it made us stronger as a family, but it was a difficult time.
It affected us because my mom, she does everything for like my brother, my father, for me, and we got the thought like, how were we gonna do anything without our mother? And then I had a nephew on the way, and we thought like, she's not gonna be there to see me, graduate from college, to see my nephew grow up, and I mean, basically, we just had to start doing things for ourselves.
To support my mom during her time of need, whenever I was home for breaks, I would just dedicate as much time as possible to taking her to the doctor and, just pretty much chauffeuring her around, because she wasn't able to drive because she was always felt weak, or her arms were sore because she couldn't lift them because of her breast. And like the chemo treatments, it just really weakened her and her medication. So I just chauffeured her around and pretty much like stayed strong around her, like trying to make her laugh, like whenever I was home, she was always happy and upbeat because I was like basically there supporting her and strong for her. Like I never let her see me cry, and if I did have to cry, I would always like leave the room or take time to myself. So definitely just being optimistic for her, for the both of us.
Because our family is so small, there's only 2 great grandkids in our family, me and my cousin. So my grandmother has always treated us like a little prince and princess. So the fact that she couldn't be there for us at that time, we had to be there for her. We had to go and see her. We had to help her with their medicine. We had to support her children because they were the ones who were her primary caregivers. Everybody had a different role they had to take on during this time, and we all did it without hesitation.
Basically, my mother was our motivation and our support for everything. So the tables had turned and we had to be there for her. And it taught me to cherish every moment I have with my mother. And basically every chance I got to talk to her, I picked up the phone, called her, and prayed for her every chance I got. Like she stayed on my mind like all day.
This situation made me a stronger person because it definitely allowed me to remain optimistic throughout the whole process, and it taught me how to like prioritize and basically really genuinely be strong for someone else, because it's like you're not really gonna be, you don't really know like how certain things affect certain people until it hits close to home. So until you like go through a certain situation, it's like you can't like, I guess the little quote, you don't know how to be strong unless strong is the only thing you have to be. So when my mom needed me, when I saw her being weak, like I had to be strong for her and me. So that seeing her hurt basically helped strengthen me.
When it happened in 1999, I was only 7. So it made me really appreciate, at a young age, it really made me appreciate the time that you have with a person, because every day isn't promised at all. Just so easily, like, someone can be snatched from your life. And I was afraid that was going to happen with my grandmother. At times when we thought she was going to get better, she didn't. Like I said, she had 4 different surgeries in a span of less than 12 months. So it really made me realize that you have to cherish every moment you have on this earth, because you don't know when something can be taken away from you so quickly.
It taught me not to take things for granted and not to be so selfish and think that something like this can happen to you or your family.
I'm proud to say my mother,
My aunt, my grandmother,
And my mother
are breast cancer survivors.